special arrangements and care. Pregnant women were often given lighter duties and better food, while experienced midwives ensured safe deliveries. Children born at sea were considered particularly blessed and often received special attention and training. The decline of these remarkable communities wasn't just due to government suppression or foreign intervention. Internal conflicts also played a major role. As the confederations grew larger and more successful, they became harder to manage. Disputes between different factions, competing ambitions among leaders, and disagreements over strategy gradually weakened their unity. Generational changes also contributed to their downfall. The children who grew up in pirate communities during the height of their power lived in a very different world from their parents. Some wanted to maintain traditional ways, while others were attracted to the opportunities offered by the changing modern world. The transition from piracy to legitimate business wasn't always smooth. Former pirates who tried to become merchants or government officials often faced suspicion and discrimination. Some succeeded in reinventing themselves, but others found it impossible to escape their past. The cultural impact of Chinese piracy extended far beyond maritime activities. The songs, stories, and traditions that developed in these communities influenced Chinese literature, theater, and popular culture for generations. Many of the martial arts techniques and naval strategies that became famous in Chinese culture actually originated in pirate communities. The business practices pioneered by pirate organizations also had lasting influence. Their methods of organizing large groups, managing complex logistics, and maintaining loyalty among diverse populations were studied and adapted by legitimate enterprises. Some of the most successful trading companies in southern China trace their methods back to pirate innovations. The linguistic contributions of pirate communities are still visible today. Specialized maritime vocabulary, coded communication methods, and even everyday expressions that originated in pirate society became part of regional dialects and eventually entered mainstream Chinese language. Archaeological evidence of pirate communities continues to be discovered throughout the South China Sea region. Shipwrecks, coastal settlements, and underwater treasure sites provide glimpses into the daily lives of these remarkable people. These discoveries often contradict popular assumptions about pirate society and reveal the sophistication of their material culture. Modern maritime law still reflects some of the innovations that originated in Chinese pirate communities. Concepts like safe passage agreements, maritime insurance, and international arbitration of disputes all have roots in the practical solutions that pirates developed for managing their complex relationships with merchants and governments. The environmental knowledge that pirates accumulated during centuries of life at sea was extraordinary. They understood weather patterns, ocean currents, seasonal changes, and marine ecosystems better than most professional sailors. This knowledge was passed down through generations and helped them navigate some of the most dangerous waters in the world. Conservation practices within pirate communities were often more advanced than those of land-based societies. They understood that overfishing or damaging coral reefs would threaten their long-term survival, so they developed sustainable practices that maintained the marine resources they depended on. The technological innovations that emerged from pirate communities were remarkable. They modified traditional Chinese junk designs to create vessels that were faster, more maneuverable, and better armed than anything in the Imperial Navy. They also adapted Western firearms and sailing techniques to their specific needs and conditions. Navigation techniques developed by pirates were often superior to official methods. They created detailed charts of dangerous coastal areas, developed new ways of calculating position and direction, and invented tools and techniques that improved safety and accuracy during long voyages. The diplomatic skills that pirate leaders developed were extraordinary. They had to negotiate with imperial officials, foreign merchants, rival captains, and their own crews. These negotiations often involved life and death stakes and required exceptional understanding of psychology, politics, and human nature. The legacy of Chinese piracy reminds us that some of history's most innovative and successful organizations operated outside traditional legal and social frameworks. These communities created solutions to complex problems that established governments couldn't solve, and their achievements deserve recognition alongside more conventional historical accomplishments. Understanding the true story of Chinese pirates changes our perspective on maritime history, Chinese culture, and the development of modern international commerce. It shows us that the boundaries between legitimate and illegitimate activities have always been more fluid than we might expect, and that some of our most important institutions and practices have surprisingly unconventional origins. The transformation of ChingShih from courtesan to pirate queen to imperial admiral represents one of the most remarkable career trajectories in human history. Her story demonstrates that exceptional individuals can rise above the limitations of their time and circumstances to achieve things that seem impossible. But her success wasn't just about personal ambition or individual brilliance. She succeeded because she understood how to work within and transform existing systems. She didn't just break rules, she created new ones that worked better than what had existed before. The pirate confederation that she led represented a form of government that was more effective, more fair, and more responsive to its citizens than most legitimate states of the time. This wasn't accidental. It was the result of centuries of evolution and refinement within pirate society. The fact that the Chinese imperial government ultimately chose to negotiate with and incorporate the pirate confederation rather than destroy it speaks to the practical value of what these communities had created. They weren't just criminals who needed to be eliminated. They were a functioning society that had something valuable to offer. The peaceful resolution of the pirate wars through negotiation rather than violence was itself a remarkable achievement. It demonstrated that even the most serious conflicts can sometimes be resolved through diplomacy and compromise, when both sides are willing to recognize each other's legitimate interests. The story of how ChingShih maintained control over such a massive organization reveals just how sophisticated her leadership really was. Remember, we're talking about managing 80,000 people, spread across hundreds of ships operating in dangerous waters. This wasn't like running a modern corporation where you can send emails and hold video conferences. Every decision had to be communicated through a complex network of trusted messengers and subordinate commanders. What made her system work was the brilliant way she balanced centralized authority with local autonomy. Each fleet commander had the freedom to make tactical decisions and handle day-to-day operations, but they all understood that major strategic choices came from her. She created a command structure that was flexible enough to respond quickly to changing conditions, but unified enough to coordinate massive operations across the entire South China Sea. The loyalty she inspired wasn't based on fear alone, though she certainly wasn't afraid to use violence when necessary. Instead, she built her authority on a foundation of competence, fairness, and shared prosperity. Pirates who served her well were rewarded generously. Those who proved themselves capable were promoted to positions of greater responsibility and higher pay. She understood that people will follow a leader who makes their lives better, not just one who threatens to make their lives worse. Her personal relationships within the Confederation were carefully managed political alliances. When she married Zhang Yi, the commander of the Black Flag Fleet, it wasn't just a romantic decision. It was a strategic move that strengthened her position and eliminated a potential rival. The marriage unified the two most powerful factions within the Confederation and made her authority virtually unshakable. But perhaps the most impressive aspect of ChingShih's leadership was how she handled external relations. She wasn't content to just fight everyone who opposed her. Instead, she built a web of relationships with merchants, local officials, and even foreign powers that made her confederation indispensable to the regional economy. Portuguese authorities in Macau found it easier to deal with her representatives than with corrupt Chinese officials. Merchants discovered that pirate protection was more reliable than Imperial Navy escorts. Even some government officials secretly preferred the stability that her confederation provided to the chaos that would result from its destruction. She also understood the importance of controlling information and public perception.